our temperatures would have taken so much time that we just said, if it's black and white, no one will ever know. There's one scene we shot one side of at night and another side of at noon, and categorically can't tell. And so you have to, you take that into consideration too, and you build with the tools they give you. But it is never, I was never like, boy, I wish this was Avengers where I could visually replace the movie. No, it's, am I having incredible fun? Do I care about what these people are doing? And is the craft service good?
Hi, I'm obviously not alone in being deeply impacted by your portrayal of women in the media, which is, very zeitgeist changey, and you rock for that. But there's another strand in your writing that I haven't heard you talk about as much that I'm interested in. I really enjoyed reading some of what you wrote during the writer's strike a few years ago. I'm actually a union organizer by trade. And in a lot of your work, you've portrayed sort of a corporate big bad. That's appeared in Angel, in Dollhouse. So in 30 seconds or less, can you tell us what is your economic philosophy?
I was raised on the Upper West Side of Manhattan in the 70s by the people who thought, John Reed and the young socialists of the 20s were some of the most idealistic people, and that socialism as a model was such a beautiful concept. And now, of course, it's become a buzzword for horns and a pitchfork. And we're watching capitalism destroy itself right now, and ultimately, all of these systems don't work. I tend to, want to champion the working class because they are getting destroyed. I write about helplessness in the face of the giant corporations and the enormously rich people who are very often in power, giving those people more power to get even more power. We are turning into Tsarist Russia. Okay, we are creating a nation of serfs. That leads to, oddly enough, revolution and socialism, which then will lead to totalitarianism. Nobody wins. It's really, really, really important that we find a system that honors both our need to achieve and doesn't try to take things away from us, but at the same time honors everybody's need to have a start, to have a goal, to have a life, to have an income, to have a chance. The fact is, these things have been taken away from us sometimes very gradually, sometimes not so gradually, since the beginning of the Reagan era, and it's proved to be catastrophic for so much of America. During the writer's strike, I was furious. I remain furious. I'm not always sure what to do about it. I don't think most of us are. But I do know that what's happening right now in the political arena is that we have people who are trying to create structures or preserve structures that will help the working class and the middle class, and people who are calling them socialists. And nobody has the perfect answer, but I honestly think we are now in a political debate that is no longer Republican versus Democrat or even conservative versus liberal. It's about people who are trying to make it work because they still remember, they still have some connection to the idea of personal dignity, and people who have gone off the reservation and
You're amazing, you're a god. I've grown up with you. Thank you so much for everything you've done.
Okay, good. Thank you, guys.
My question is, you've given me so many peak moments. My highlight in the last decade was a certain cameo, Cabin in the Woods. What is your biggest, like, geek moment?
My biggest geek moment? My life is one endless geek moment. Honestly, I have never had a more intense, geek, perfect experience than the email I got from Joe Quesada that said, just to be clear, so the people you want for your team on the X-Men are as follows. And I read that, and that was where I first coined the term nerdgasm. I just couldn't believe that my life had become that. You also would have been very amused to see me when I met Neil Adams and when I met Bernadette Peters. I could not speak. It was actually very sad, but anyway. I have to say one more thing, which I forgot to say, because I know this, but I don't know if everybody else does. Next season, we are going to have a special presentation, thanks to our friends on the CW, who will be airing Dr. Horrible on television for the first time. I apologize for how dark this all got and twisted, and for the things I'm going to do later. But as always, I am so grateful and so thrilled that you guys came out. And I hope next year to have an entirely new slate of things for you to ask questions about, because I just want to